Let's make a borosilicate mushroom pendant. This is one of the first pieces that I learned. I really enjoyed them. I still enjoy making them today. And there seems to always be a demand for them. This is my little work setup. Get my hands limbered up. Grab some stuff to work with. That's about a 1/2 inch or a 12 mil rod hooked up to some 7 mil for a handle to make it a little easier to spin. And there's a little bit of color rod on the left. I believe it's Aurora. But my favorites are say Aurora, Caramel, Butterscotch, some of the exotics, pretty much any of the glass that changes color when you hit it with a real hot flame and different oxygen settings and different colors. It'll yield more organic results. And I've kind of avoided making mushrooms out of white because even though many real mushrooms are white, they don't look that good, and even worse, they don't seem to sell as well. So here I am putting a large heat to the larger piece. And what I'm going to try and do is get it as hot on the inside as on the outside. And then I'm going to chill the outside faster than the inside, giving it a little bit of rigidity to the wall, and then heat up just the end and then penetrate it with the smaller diameter rod of color. And that's going to expand on impact just like a bullet. And it's going to mushroom out and make a beautiful little mushroom inside there. And by doing it against the marvering plate that's backing it and below it, I'm not letting it bulge the whole thing out into a sphere. It's staying more or less cylindrical. And then I can back over just like this and smooth out the bottom without pulling so that the stock, which is that colored rod, stays the same diameter. And then I'll snap it off in place. It's really easy to snap as it cools. Right there. So now I want to heat up the bottom a little bit and smooth up that intersection between the color rod and the clear. And then I'm going to apply something underneath there that's going to represent the ground, terra firma, and something under that in the way of a pleasant color. So first is cleaning up that bottom. There were a few little spots in there, so I'm kind of filling them in. And I'm going to take, this is a little bit of cobalt over white, and spread that around the bottom in a spiral to create a nice little psychedelic ground layer. And then we'll put something underneath of that, some kind of a slime green or something. Maybe put some dots on it just so it looks more interesting to the eye. Put the marvering pad on the side a little bit because I'm going to marver the bottom, and at the same time I'm pushing it back against the marvering plate, back plate, to keep it squared off. There we go, filling in that bottom area so that we don't just have a mushroom hanging in midair. We've actually got a layer of ground underneath of it. After making the weld and getting that area extremely hot, I'll drop it down and marver it, which is again going to chill the exterior a little bit, make it lose heat and set up a little faster. And it controls the shape. It keeps it very symmetrical and round. So now I'm just working my way up, heating it to the top end of the mushroom. They do get quite a bit of stress pushed into them when you shove that cooler rod into the hotter glass, and there's thermal stress locked into it. So by reheating it, going up and working it gently and pulling it a little bit, I'm relieving most of that stress. As a general rule, when you push glass together and condense it, it will want to crack and fracture later. If you take that same glass and gently heat it and then pull it or expand it by blowing, it will become significantly stronger and less prone to these cracks. Marvering it down so it has a nice symmetrical top. See that little guy glowing in there? That's a good clean mushroom. This is just going to be a putty because I want to disconnect that bottom color rod and do a couple rows of dots down there. So a good punty is heating up both ends, putting them together in a nice straight line, and leave that acute angle. Only push together gently. Do not pull apart whatsoever, or you will lose your acute angle, and it will not be a clean punty to remove. So, nice straight in flame. Cut that piece off. Then I'll marver the bottom of the pendant now to, again, get everything symmetrical. I got ahead of myself there. I'll do that after I add the white spots with black dots. So that was just a bunch of little white dots. And I'll put some little black spots on top of each dot before I burn it in. That's the little dichro strip that's going to become the loop. Little tiny black dots. And because they're on the white, they go a long way in contrast. So here we go, really heating up that bottom. Not just the bottom, but a little bit up to distribute that heat, not thermal shock, just the bottom from the middle. Back to the marvering pad. First the cylindrical side to maintain the uniformity there, and then the end. Now we're going to switch the bunnies from the top to the bottom. So same thing, heat up a little 4mm rod, very precisely align it. It's easier to do down in that marvering pad, but you can freehand it. But again, be sure to only gently, very gently push together and maintain that acute angle. And then when you tap it off while it's still hot, the hot one will survive because it's still flexible, but that cold one will pop right off even if they had the same surface area and contact. So now we've got it mounted to the bottom, and we can take a quick look at it. And we just got to put a loop on this thing. And with colors like that, I wouldn't even dream of doing a red loop, orange loop. This is definitely a case for a sparkly cobalt dichro loop. Wipe any dust off. And then just start heating it from the end uniformly. Then I'll take an octagonal reamer or something and gently fold that around onto itself with the dichro facing outwards, of course. I like to make up these loops ahead of time generally, and if you sit down and make anywhere from 10 to 100 of them, you'll get much better at them much quicker, and you'll have a large stockpile of ready to place loops ready to go. This also increases the speed when you're working on your pieces because you have a whole selection of loops to just stick on. Even if you want to throw them in the kiln to preheat them, they'll be ready to go and drop right onto your more complicated, larger piece, which you have a time limit on of it being out of the flame or out of the kiln. So it'll speed up your work and expose your pieces to less risk of cracking while you're farting around with doing a manual loop afterwards. So there they go, ready to join together and finish this thing off. I actually like to marver the connection generally after I put the two together. As I generally pull them apart, I'll put them on the marvering pad angled vertically. That's the preparation for it. Big old nice chunk of heat right between the two. And then gently turn it on the marvering pad to line up all three axes, left, right hand, and the center. You can see it all rotating true and easy when you rest it there in the center and rotate it. Any offset or any crank will be noticeable. So pop off a putty, fire polish that end. Grab some tweezers, warm them up a little so they don't shock it, tap it off, fire polish the other bunty end. And there we go, one completed borosilicate mushroom pendant, where people will ask, how did you get that mushroom in there? That's it. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Check our other videos, and we'll be producing a lot more real soon.